Hello, my wonderful learners. I welcome you once again to our virtual lessons. This is for 55 science. What are we to learn at the moment? We are still on heat and we want to discuss one. The objectives. One, discuss the practical application of the three modes of heat transfer. Discuss the practical application of the three modes of heat transfer. Previously, we learned about the three modes of heat transfer. We talk about one is what? Conduction, two, convection. Conduction is one. We talk about the convection. We talk about the radiation. And we said that conduction is is also a heat transfer, one mode of heat transfer, whereby the heat can be transferred to you when you are touching the hot object. So when you touch the hot object, example, this is a conductor, a good conductor, right? So if this one is in fire and I touch it, I'll feel heat. I'll feel hot, heat. So the more that the heat is transferred to it, the more that the heat will be transferred to the one holding the object. So that is what conduction. And when we talk about conduction, we have good conduction, good conductor, and then bad conductor. When we say good conductor, that means they are objects or materials that can withstand heat. Example is the one I'm holding, that's a metal object. A cooking pot that your parents are using at home. They are all good conductor of what? Of heat. That means when you put them on fire, they will not, they can withstand. They can cook for you. They will just be hot. But bad ones are the materials that cannot withstand with heat. So materials, example, my book, this book, when I put it in fire, what will happen to it? It will burn. Another one, when I put rubber material in the water, what will happen? It will burn. So they are bad conductor of heat. They can't withstand heat. So that is about conduction. So the practical aspects, we are going to talk about them. Last week we discussed about all these, the three modes. So we are going to talk about the practical aspects. So practical application of the three modes of heat transfer. So one, we are talking about the conduction. Yeah, the conduction, we are talking about the good conductors, okay? One is cooking vessels are made of metals so that they can readily absorb heat energy and transmit it to the food. So when our parents are cooking, or when we are cooking ourselves, what happens? We put the cooking pot on the fire or the stove, right? Whereby the fire will be under it. So that the hot object, the metal will become hot and then boil our food for us or cook our food for us. So that's one practical aspect of what? Conduction. Without conduction, without the object becoming hot, your food cannot be hot, cannot be cooked. So that's one practical aspect of what? Of conduction. Another one is what? You see mercury. Mercury is used in thermometer as it is a good conductor of heat. So when you take mercury thermometer, we have two main types. We have the analog thermometer and then the digital thermometer. When we go to the hospital, sometimes nowadays they use the digital for us. So we don't see the mercury. But when we take the analog one, there's mercury in it. The mercury read when they put it in our armpit or when they are checking our temperature. You know, the temperature is what? The heat, the number of heat we have in our body. So it measures the heat in our body. So if the mercury is not a good conductor of heat, it can't read the heat in us. So the mercury is a metal and is very good conductor of heat. That's why it will stand with the heat to measure our temperature. So that's one practical aspect. We have more practical aspect of conduction, but we'll end it here for today. Let's move on to the convection. The convection of what? Of convection mode of what? Heat transfer. The practical aspects. One is ventilation. When we talk of ventilation, then we are talking of, you see our house, there's what? Windows. The windows help us to get fresh what? Air. That is what? Ventilation. That is ventilation. So ventilation is the process by which impure and warm air inside a room is continuously replaced by fresh air from outside. That is called ventilation. So when you enter into your room and you've closed all the windows, when you enter immediately, you see that you feel warm immediately, or you feel that there's still air. But when you open the window, what happens? You see that immediately there will be fresh air coming into the room, and therefore later you switch on your fan to circulate and give you fresh air. This is one practical aspect of convection, that the impure air in the room will move away so that the fresh air will come and take place. So the air will be circulating, the fresh air will be circulating the room to be sucking away the hot air or the warm air in the room. Okay, so that is what convection. That's how convection happens in our daily life. And one aspect is what? In the coastal areas, the convection current is responsible for the formation of sea breeze and land breeze. When you say sea breeze, it's where during the day, when you go closer to the sea, where the sea is, you see that during the day, there will be what? There will be fresh air. It's like you'll be feeling very cold air outside, and during the night you'll be feeling hot. Like if you are closer to the sea, you'll be feeling rather hot air or warm air around the sea. That's the land breeze and then the sea breeze. So when you go closer to the sea, or you are very close to the sea, what do you see? You feel that there's very cold air around there. That means there's the air breeze, the sea breeze. There's some air coming to the land, right? Because during the day the sun shines on the sea. So as the sun is shining, it's the air rather come from the sea. The vapor come out from the sea to the land, right? The vapor come out from the sea, and that vapor is very cold. So when it come to the land, you get cold air. You get cold air. And during the night, you see that there's no sun to give us heat, right? So now the heat on the land, the heat from the sea rather come because there's no sun to make the water vapor come out. So we rather get hot air around the sea. So the land breeze and then the sea breeze happens because of what? Convection. And because of convection. So because the air circulates, and convection is what? The circulation of what? Air. Circulation of air in the midst of or around. So that is how the sea breeze and then land breeze happens. It happens because of what? The convection mode of heat transfer. Let's move on to the next mode of heat transfer. Next mode of heat transfer. That is what? Radiation. And we talk about radiation whereby feeling heat when we are not we are not touching the objects. We are not touching the objects, you still feel heat. So example, when there's a gas stove around or you set fire in your coal pot, even though you are not touching the coal pot, but even when you are close to it, you feel that there's heat from the fire or from the coal pot you have put fire in. So as you are feeling that, because there's space between you and then the coal pot, but the heat can be transferred through that space, through the air to you. We say that's radiation. Another one is the sun. The sun is at a far place, but still we feel the heat. That is true radiation. Without radiation, you don't feel the heat, but because of radiation, it brings the sun heat to us. Okay, so the sun heat can be transferred through the space the vacuum, the space we have to us. So that's how radiation will happen. So the practical aspect, you say it is more comfortable to wear white or light colored dress in hot summer than black clothes. This is because they absorb less radiant heat energy. When you wear black clothes during the hot summer time, or when the sun is shining, you'll see that you'll be feeling more hot, more heat. You feel more heat. But when you wear light clothes, that's white, like in the form of white, very light, because the white clothes reflect light, but the black clothes absorb light. It absorbs the light, so it makes you feel more hot, more heat. But when you are wearing white one, it reflects it, so you don't feel the heat like you are feeling hot it when you are wearing the black clothes. So it's advisable to wear white clothes or colored clothes when you are walking under the sun. So the practical aspect is what one is always try and wear white clothes when you are walking under the sun. Another one is what about tea. The tea we drink, tea or coffee remains hot for a longer time in a shiny pot than in a black pot. Why are we saying this? When you try it at home. This one we have been drinking tea, so try it at home. Try and pour tea in the pot, black pot, and see, and pour some too in the just light container or just different container which is not black. You will see that when you go there, you will see that the shiny one, the tea is still hot, but the black pot, is still hot. The tea will be cold. Why? Because the black pot absorbs the heat from the tea, so it makes the tea to become cold. But the shiny pot will make it maintain its heat, because it doesn't absorb it. It doesn't absorb the heat from the tea. So this is one practical aspect we want to talk about radiation. So we talk about the black clothes that we have been wearing, it absorbs heat. We talk about the shiny one reflects light. We talk about the tea for radiation. So to bring this lesson to an end, I'll ask again what have we learned? We've learned about the practical application of the three modes of heat transfer. We talk about the conduction mode of heat transfer, we talk about the convection mode of heat transfer, we have talked about the radiation mode of heat transfer. On to study hard on your own. Okay, I love you all. We say goodbye.